Coming up on today's show, we're going to talk more in depth about MyGm Mode that's coming out for 2K22. We're going to go through the Forbes interview Brian Mazik did with the art director and the creative director for the game, and give you a little bit more information as what you can expect, because there's a lot of cool stuff in there. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to Assemble. I'm Matt. Great to have you here on the show. I'm excited. 2K's around the corner. Lots of news coming in at you. We're just firing it off, aren't we? Just every day. Just Matt doesn't sleep anymore. That's okay. So let's get into the interview itself. Huge rundown of everything that was going on in the interview, discussing MyGm Mode, talking universe mode, talking some other stuff. This is all about GM mode. We know about the basics of MyGM, where you are going to be picking your actual general manager. You're going to be either, Sonya Deville, Adam Pearce, Shane McMahon, Stephanie McMahon. And as GM, you're going to need to be able to build your roster, draft your roster, and be able to kind of develop it over time. We get a ton of insights in the interview though of what this is really going to be and how it really is its own mode and its own game mode and kind of separate from the rest of it. In the interview, they talk about how MyGM, there are limitations that you're going to expect and there are handcuffs on you as kind of the commissioner, as the general manager. For example, you're going to have to adjust your matches and how they're developing over time. The fans comment through social media in the feed menu that they actually have, that the social media feedback, it'll tell you what match types work and what don't. And that's coming from Christina Pham, the art director, in her statement in the interview, saying how, if you have the social media feed, you finish up some matches, you're going to need to adjust them and see how fans are actually reacting to the matches, the results, match type, the flow, all of that stuff to be able to tell you, hey, this is working, this is not working. You would also get feedback from Triple H, as they mentioned in the interview, and giving you different feedback too about how your show is progressing. They did get some indication too that you can kind of be like an evil GM, and I guess also then like a good balanced GM too. So you can make different decisions in GM mode to be able to steer how your whole roster is going to shape up, how your show is produced, and just how I guess you interact and engage with the superstars and the fans themselves in the universe that you are building and managing. A big point that they did highlight was that as a GM, you can interfere in a match. And they said that in the interview that you can watch ringside as the GM, you can be involved in the match, so you could actually distract the referee. And as Lionel Jinx said in the interview, you could distract the referee and you could throw in a chair into the match too. So it's beyond just having to do the simulated manage a roster, the draft, the contracts. You can actually get in there and interfere and kind of run your program the way you want, which is really, really cool, because if you want to be able to kind of recreate I'm thinking about some Attitude Era moments. If I can be Shane McMahon as a GM and I could run everything on Raw, and I got Austin and Rock and Mankind and Undertaker, and I'm running things from the 90s and the Attitude Era, I really, really like that I could actually interfere, toss a chair into a match, hit Austin with the chair, and being able to do things like that. That could actually create some fun storylines within the GM mode itself in MyGM to be able to give it just a little bit more and a little bit more layers to it. It's really cool. And they talked about the different options that you have with the mode too for what you can do. So yes, you can still play the matches, you can simulate the matches, you can interfere, and you can spectate. Fans are trying to find out what is the real difference between, universe mode and MyGM, because they do sound a little similar, and I thought so too. If I'm going to be able to play and interfere and all of that, what's the big difference? One of them is that in universe mode, as they said in the interview, Triple H is giving you the feedback on it, and it's really that sandbox idea of being able to do whatever you want. And if you want to have an AEW or a WCW show or whatever, you can do a GCW, you can do whatever you want in universe mode. And you can also go with having the focus on superstar mode and be able to toggle it so that you can just focus on Charlotte or AJ Styles, an individual superstar's development in your universe mode. That's what's the big difference here from MyGM to Universe. As I said in the interview, spectate mode, you have predetermined cameras and you can actually cycle through different camera angles in the arena. So instead of just watching the match, and this has me excited, instead of just having to spectate a match of Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania and just watching the regular camera angle that we get in the game, You can cycle through different camera angles throughout the show. I really like this from a community aspect, for social media, for sharing it, uploading it, creating content, because I can go in as a GM and I can watch the match unfold from different angles. I love the idea of different camera angles coming into play here. It's a combination, as Lionel Jinx mentioned in the interview, that it's taking elements and probably a lot of the tools from the highlight reel that we're used to and putting it into this so that I can spectate and take different angles from around the arena for the match itself. If it goes on the outside, there's outside the ring camera angles that I can go with. I really do like this. It changes it up and it gives you a reason to spectate the matches and probably then just interfere and just wreak some havoc. Another really cool feature that they're adding in here for MyGM is the length of your season of the whole mode itself for you. The art director, Christina Femme, actually said that you have the options of selecting 15 weeks, 25 weeks, or 50 weeks long to run your show. Being able to select different weeks is a really cool option. Because we go into universe mode and we end up going for like forever, and it takes forever, we have to kind of create those storylines ourselves, and it doesn't give it an ending. You feel like get to WrestleMania and you just keep going and going. This is very intriguing to me because it sets up new goals. It sets up probably different achievements and trophies that you can achieve by completing certain things within your GM. And also, if you want to do shorter sessions of running your MyGM mode of like 15 weeks, it lets me pick Raw, SmackDown, NXT, NXT UK. I can run all the shows if I want to on a quicker scale, or have multiple saves going, obviously, and I can run different shows in different GM modes and universes in that sense, separately on its own. I really like being able to select different weeks because I am going to want to be able to try out a 15-week MyGM run through of a show on Raw, or I'm going to go for the 50-week one and try to really make it this massive thing. Also being able to run like your champions for a long period of time, right? I can have Roman Reigns run everything as Universal Champion for 50 weeks. We can do more within the storylines that we want to make in the game. They also mentioned in the interview that if you want to build a balanced team, you can do that, and you can auto build your roster, or you can draft your roster yourself. So there is an option when it is time for doing the draft that we've seen in the trailers that you can select to just click auto draft, and it will auto-populate a balanced roster for you so you can quickly get into your MyGM, or you can get in there and you can actually meticulously go through and try to draft stars, current superstars. They mentioned legends, obviously, and they joked about getting enhancement talent in there too. That tells me that they're using the term enhancement talent. I'm only speculating here, everybody, but I think that alludes to that we could bring in our custom superstars into the MyGM mode. Each week you have commissioner goals too, and you can upgrade your matches, or you can draft free agents or legends based off of meeting the goals that have been set up. So again, progression, built-in system for you to keep coming back, to feel like you're working towards something. That is really cool. So being able to actually have these weekly goals that I need to hit and challenges, it's an added element. It allows me to build up my roster, build out this entire GM mode so that I'm working towards something. I really like that. And we've seen in the trailers too, where you have like TLC matches that are booked in there. You're going to be able to meet these challenges and hit these milestones, and then potentially unlock more matches, different match types to put into your GM universe there. And the last thing to mention on the show today, everybody, is talking about MyGM being online. We mentioned this in a previous episode, but we got more clarification through the interview itself what that means. You can play against someone else. It is co-op. You can search for someone online in the lobby to join your MyGM and play against people on your friends list. So it's not going to be very robust from the sounds of it. It's going to be as simple as being able to grab a friend on your PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and invite them to join into the lobby with your MyGM. Or you're going to be able to go into the lobby itself and just select somebody to see if they want to join as well. Cool added feature. I like the head-to-head idea of it. If I want to see what's going on SmackDown, I can do that. And doing the head-to-head mode, it's one more layer that we can enjoy out of this game. Let me know what you're excited for when it comes to MyGM. Hit me up in the comments. Let's have a conversation. Thanks for watching, everybody. See ya.